Good morning, CIS students. I welcome you to the long-awaited live class. I believe it's going to be a nice moment with yours. So far, you've been receiving lectures your on your forthcoming exam, which is just by the way. So I believe it's going to be a nice time with us. So welcome to Starry Academy, Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, which is what you are in, and I believe very soon we will become a chartered stockbroker. So paper 4.2, which entails ethics and professional standards, law relating to securities and investment, regulations of securities and corporate finance. So let's start the live class. So I welcome everyone on board. So can you let me know in the comment section where you're connecting from? I would love to know where you're connecting from. Let me know your status type in the comment section. I'm connected from live, but me and I'm Michael, and I'm live from Lagos. So let me know where you're connected from so that I can relate with you and to know and get feedback. Start suggestions. So I welcome once again everyone to the live class. So like we all know, is the period I'll be sharing important information to you that would put you on the scale to succeeding your forthcoming examination. So don't take just take your get your pen, get your mind, and get your attention here because everything I'll be sharing with you are important in contributing to your success. So irrespective of how long you've been spending in reading, in solving questions, the reason for one of the reasons why we organize live class like this is to expose you to some information, to expose you to some areas that would help you scale that some people might not that would avail you the opportunity of smashing your exam and smashing it on a good scale. So let's start. So examination tips. So it is one thing to prepare for an exam, it's another thing to perform your exam. Like I tell my students that you must be able to manage those two skills, preparation skills and performance skills. So preparation will take more time, but performance skill is more important because how well you prepare would also um be a function of how well you can perform. But you must not just limit your performance skill to how you prepare. There are also some important things you must go along with in order to grace your performance and make your preparation um timing worth it. I believe you are with me. So I can see you Tunde, welcome on board. I can see you Mary, welcome Mary from Osun State, you are welcome. So it's nice having you on board. So I believe it's going to be a great Mohammed from Katina, you are welcome. So that was nice having you on board. So let's roll. I believe you are with me, and I believe we are going to be having a great time together. All right, so let's get set. So so you get your math set, get your biro, get your ruler, and your calculator. You need all those three gadgets in order to scale your exam. You need your biro, you need your ruler, and you also need your exam docket. So it's important. Many people feel that okay, is yes, I know that I will be going into exam hall and I'll be needing all these things I've mentioned, but it's important you plan a day ahead before your exam. Don't just wait till the day of your exam, morning of your exam, where you be crossed, you'll be filled with anxiety to get all everything you need to get. It's important you get all these things. Most times, most what I advise my students that get all these materials ready a night before you go to bed because at that point you'll be at peace. At that point, your mind is going to be at rest. So don't wait till the following morning and you start sorting out this thing because you'll be limited with time. And you also, if your distance is far, you also have to during that period there's likelihood that you might forget something because your mind is how you're going to get to the exam or get there early. You have questions to answer. You have some things you want to read. There are some things you want to revise. So if you have sorted all these things out a night before that time, it will be easier for you to plan yourself, wake up very early, organize yourself, and take and go straight to the exam hall to go and smash your exam. So having said that, the other important tip that you will need for your forthcoming exam, which is just by the way which is just some days from now, is is to be mentally and emotionally stable. To be mentally and what and emotionally stable. So it's to your own advantage if you are mentally and emotionally stable, if you are stable emotionally and mentally. So um yes, so the week for the exam, 2 or 3 days for exam, it's important to give yourself enough rest. So no matter what you be doing, what you be doing, so what you will do now cannot change what you've been doing before. What you've been doing before, what you've been doing for the past 3 months, for the past 4 months, have accumulated, and what the things you feel you can achieve in the next 2 or 3 days might not be as might not be valuable, might not stand have the tendency to stand the test of time compared to all those ones you've been doing before now. So it's important to give yourself enough rest. It's important to put your mind, you put your mind, put your body to rest so that you'll be fit and you'll be physically ready, you'll be emotionally ready, and also you'll be psychologically ready for your forthcoming exam. All these things are important because they all contribute to how well you can perform. I've known some students when they get to the exam hall, that is where they started, they are feeling sleepy. Many of them have to go on the ward because they couldn't sleep throughout the night. For someone like me, irrespective of the exam I'm going to have, I love taking a good sleep because it helps me perform well in the exam. Though I might not be able to cover all my syllabus, but I believe that the ones I've covered so far, with the little preparation I've done for myself, I'll be able to scale the exam. So it's important that if you want to pass this CIS exam, aside of the fact that you prepare, aside of the fact that you've taken your time to solve questions, aside of the fact that you've taken your time to watch our video lecture, aside of the time that you've taken time to also attend our online classes. Is one another important area you need to look at is sleeping well because it's important. Once you are mentally okay, once your brain is at rest and is ready for the next day, you can give it your best shot. Do you get that now? So if any friends that are close to you, please advise them to take out time and to sleep well and to prepare themselves mentally for the exam because it's all important and it's all important factor in contributing to how far they can go in their exam. So don't take advantage of your sleep. Sleep well and sleep um so and the next point is that you need to be 100% focused. You need to be 100% focused. So it's important that um avoid distractions, avoid distractions and panicking. So one of the ways you reduce your you kill your distraction is by increasing your focus. So one of the ways you can't move further if you give more attention to distractions. We now know that we are in the age of we have a lot of opportunities and a lot of distractions. So if you are preparing for exam, you need to plan yourself. Aside of planning yourself, you need to um inculcate the discipline to focus on what you want to do. Science exam is just for a period of time. If you don't give it all it does, that it requires, it is going to you are going to miss out some things in some things that you are doing. So please, you can shun out non-value added activities that would affect how well or how far you go. So limit yourself to places you need to go to. Give your time to reading. Give your time to preparing for exam. Give your time to studying group. Give your time to revision. Give your time to asking questions. So avoid distractions. Stop panicking and give your full attention to study. Your exam is very very close, and everything you do now would go a long way in determining how well you're going to perform in the exam and which will likely determine the end results you're going to have. So please, like I told you, the first point is you have to get your math set, which entails your Bible, your ruler, your exam docket, or your calculator. As regards calculator part, I do advise you, you can just go with calculator that you have been using. It is easier to get it is better, advisable, it is better to use calculator that you've been using for a while than just getting a new calculator a day before that time. Fine, if circumstance around that you should get a new calculator, please get it. But it's important that it will be to your advantage when you use calculator that you've been using during your preparation phase. Are you with me? All right. Yeah, but you're welcome. I can cite you. All right, fam, I can cite. Sorry, I didn't say that. So my focus is just to eat the examination tape that I believe is going to be a great time. Now, number four, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. What you know is enough for you to pass the exam. Yes, many students are always having this gap in their mind that since I didn't cover their syllabus, there's likelihood I might not do well. See, no matter the complexity of the exams, you might not be able to call it syllabus. I believe you. If you do what you need to do with hard work, with prayer, with consistency in solving questions, you'll be able to build confidence for yourself as you prepare for the exam, irrespective of of the syllabus you correct. I can mostly say most of the exams I've written, most of the professional exams I've written so far, the other exam, in most cases, I don't cover all the syllabus, and I don't feel of course it's normal to feel to feel inadequate because you've not been able to cover the entire syllabus. It is normal, I've been there before. But I tell you, for your CIS exam, you need to just keep that mentality. You need to believe in yourself because it is you that will determine the outcome of what you're going to have. It is you that's going to determine the outcome of what you're going to get, irrespective of how you've prepared. So what you know is enough. What you know is enough. What you're able to take, what you're able to study, those things you know, those things you feel you don't know. Don't pay attention to your weaknesses. Pay attention to your strength. Your strength can help you fight over, can give you the wisdom. Your strength can give you the skill, can give you the dexterity to overshadow your weaknesses. So if you give room for your weaknesses, it's going to outsmart your those strength that you have. Are you with me? So don't get scared. Don't get when you get to the exam hall, feel confident. Feel that you are the one that you are the one you want to smash this thing. You want to kill these things. You are ready. Even though there are some areas of inadequacies, but let's go of that part. Your area of your adequacy is more than the area or areas of inadequacy. So focus on those areas you believe that you will do well. So what you know, it's enough. You might know 60% of your syllabus, and if you know them well, I can boldly tell you that you are good to go, provided that you're taking your time to practice questions, because once you practice enough questions, there's a way it gives you confidence, and there's a way it gives you a feeling that you are enough for your exam. So even though you've not practiced enough questions, but still yet you still have little time to do that. But don't let your inadequacies affect your strength for your forthcoming exams. Do you understand? So those ones you know, let them amplify your let them give you the aura that you need to scale this exam. Now the next point is that you read carefully all instructions at the top of the paper. E.g., attempt for questions out of six. So yes. Now one thing most students don't do is that of course since we know how many questions we have to attempt. Most times, because of the anxiety, the excitement to answer the question and the anxiety to manage time, we tend to forgo the instructions. And the examiner might decide to add some information, but there might be some little updates that you might not know that might have been incorporated in the question. If you don't take time to read those instructions, there are not always many, but from statistics, most students don't go through instructions, and it is not advisable. For your CIS for your CIS exam, which happens to be a professional exam, take time and read the instructions. No matter how book is going to be like, it cannot be more than 2 pages. Most times, only between those it's just between one page, and it doesn't even maximize a page. So take your time and go through the instructions. Look at how many questions you have to ask. Is there any development? Is there am I to has the question been is there be is there any development that the examiner wants me to know? The examiner wants me to use am I allowed to in this time? Of course they allow both black and blue pen. Am I allowed to use black, or am I instructed to only use blue pen or black pen? So all those things the examiner might clearly state them in the question that is being served to you. So if you don't know them, if you don't take your time to evaluate all these things, it's going to affect how far, it's going to affect how well, it's going to affect all yours. I've not been students that she go prevent my profession for an exam, and there's a professional exam. So she thought she should answer five. She thought she was thinking it was 5 out of 6, and she answered five, not knowing that she was to answer like just 3. Though she passed the exam, luckily for her, because she was a smart student, and um but the time would have been wasted if she assumed to fail like 3. The exam is going to assess those ones that she failed, and the one that she score, they are going to disregard it. So that, you have to ensure that because she has gone against the exam instructions, she has gone against the instructions that has been provided to her by the examiner. So it's important for you that if you're going to skill trade, then one of the important things you need to be conscious of is by you carefully taking your time, which is less than at most 2 minutes. At most 2 minutes, 1 minute is enough to even go through your instructions, and you by far you'll be ready to solve the questions that has been provided to you by the examiner. So one thing about this instruction that it also gives you, it gives you the perspective, it gives you perspective of how you're going to start the questions and how you're going to solve them. Now the next examination tips you need to know about regards to exam is that you identify three questions you know best and start with them. First impressions matters a lot. Identify the three questions you know best and start with them. A first impression matters a lot. Yes, this is an important part that has to do with your performance skills that most students are not always aware of. Now, if you're going to pass your exam, if you're going to do well, if you're going to um give a first impression to your examiner, it's important to answer questions that you understand first. Because of course all questions is not all questions you're going to know. There are some questions you will be skeptical about. There are some you're going to be very sure of this because you have taken time to prepare yourself. So once they serve the questions to you, even though it might not fall in maybe it might even be the last question, maybe number 6 or number 5. Now start with those questions that happen to be your strengths. Start with your strengths. Yeah, so start with your strengths. Start with your strengths and end the questions you're answering with your weaknesses. So what I mean by this is that any questions that you believe that your strength, that your key competence areas, please start them. If you have been served question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and to pick those 4 questions, and maybe if you're talking that question 1 is compulsory, noted. If question 1 you don't know, you're skeptical about it, but of course you must attempt question 1. But you know question 4 and question 5 very very well. Note them, and the other questions you're skeptical about, you're never you, are sco- you don't know number 2 at all. You don't know number 6 at all, but you have an idea of number 3. So you rank them. You start with question 1. Question 1 will come first. Question 5 will come to you because you know both of them very well. Question 1, your question 1 is still consists of question 1. You still have a reasonable amount of knowledge in question 1. You can put rank it at number 3, and the one you are skeptical about, rank it as number 4. Do you get it now? So what's ranking? So you just start with question 1 first, which is the one you know first, because there's a probability that once you solve this question, there will not be any flaw. You're going to give it your best shot. There won't be any miss. There will not be any need of you casting any part, because your confidence will be fresh and you're going to pass a first good impression about you to the marker, to the person that's marking your script. Then you complement your strength, you complement your question 1, your first question with matching question 2 as well. Now, so with this one, you've built a good foundation for yourself. And if there's any issues that have to do with question 1 and question 3, what you've done 1 and 2 will be able to complement question 2 and question 3. Question 1 and question 3. Do you get that now? So that is just what I'm trying to tell you about. So identify 3 questions like this platform I've given. This is what I normally use. Once I've been served, most of my professional exam I did. Once I've been served my exam questions, I take my time to study the questions. Look at the ones I know very well. Once I know you very well, automatically I underline you. Then I do like that. So then I rank the one I'm starting with. This one is my key area. Then let me start the question 2. Question 3 is a no-go area. I cancel it. Number 4 is okay. Yeah, I know number 4 very well. I also circle it again. So once I circle them, I now rank them based on the one I will tackle first. And now there is one thing you need to know about the questions you know very well. The time you're going to spend to solve it would would be minimal. The question you're skeptical about, the time you're going to spend to solve it will be more, because there's some areas that we get stuck. There's some areas where you're able to redo your calculations. But once you know well, if you tend to maybe spend 30 minutes to solve each of the question, because in the question 1 you can even spend just 20 minutes, and you would have saved 10 minutes to meet your inadequacies in those ones that you might not know about. So like I told you, with identify 3 questions and that you know best, and start them with start with them, which gives helps you give a first impression, and which also matters a lot. Now the next part is that you ensure you attempt all the four questions. Yes, there has not been any exam that I've written that I've scaled successfully and I didn't attempt all the questions I was told to attempt. Yes. So it is important for you. It is very, it is to your advantage. Let me use that word. It is to your advantage when you attempt the four questions out of the six questions. So now, when you attempt four questions, I tell my students that one of the ways you pass, one of the important ingredients is clean your exam. One of the recipes is clean your exam is when you take your time to attempt the questions. Fine, you are given six questions. You only know three questions. Even you know or the three itself, you out of it you only know two very well. The one is kept is like you only know like average of it. You only know like one 3A and 3B. 3C and 3D you don't know is the guesswork. Now and you have two questions more to go. You don't even know them at all. Someone that if I and you were in the same shoe, A and B, we did question one and question two. I also did question one and question two. That gives me like 40 mark. I've gotten 40% of it already. And you know the pass mark is 50%. So we have question we have five and five 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. So we don't know any of this one at all. But both of us have an idea. So we're like, all the best. I will just go and say me like that. My God's grace is going to cover me. That's the one I know. I will just get my God might help me. They might even give me might get more than 40%. Maybe because the one will be maybe 30 marks, because the two is 20 marks. At least I should be able to get 50% here, forgetting that there is likely that you might not get to or the real self might get 45% or those examiner will be considerate. So me and I was like I have enough time but I cannot leave those two questions. I was supposed to attempt four questions. Attempting the four questions was going to increase my likelihood of passing the exam. I don't know if you're getting me. So let me just use guesswork and do question three. Let me guess work and do question five. Since I have an idea of what like, they're talking about. So I took my time. Professional exam, I took my time to think and I was able to provide solution to what I think question three is and I was able to provide solution to what I think question five is. And each of these questions carries like 10 mark each or 10 mark each. So there's no but the fact that I attended the questions, it's likely that I'm going to have less as on average the maximum I'm going to have is five. Why this one I have like four. I have like I was able to convince the person here, being the fact that it was a theoretical question. So I came out and I had six. So six plus five, that is 11. I already have 40% in that one. So that in total I'm going to have 51% because I did guesswork on this one. So you compare Mr. B to Mr. A that they only attempts one and two and left question four, left 5 to 6, left 30 marks that way. So is of course in this scenario, Mr. A will come and you will sit for the exam. Why me? Because I was able to add smartness to my brilliance. I was able to get to 51% and I move ahead of Mr. A. So it's important that you attempt all the four questions if you're going to have a good success in your exam. Are you with me? Yeah, so let's move ahead and we'll look at. So the first part I told you that you must get your maths you can take your bio, ruler exam docket and calculator. Also, you should ensure that you're mentally, emotionally, and psychologically stable, which entails that you have to stay well. Also, you need to be 100% focused. That is, avoid distractions and panicking. Increase your focus quotient and decrease your distraction quotient. And four, believe in yourself. This is an important aspect you need to incorporate into your life. If you don't believe in yourself, and that's an earlier stage of that's a symptom that your exam is not going to be a good one. Now, so read carefully all instructions at the top of the paper. Attempt 4 questions out of 6. Identify 3 questions you know best and start with them. First impression matters a lot. I've taken my time to explain it, and I told you that you should ensure that you attempt all the 4 questions. So now the important another important example is that you start a new question on a fresh page. of an answer book sheet. So we all know our answer book sheet is missing. Let's assume that you the first page you solve the question, you use the second page you use like you solve the question. The third page you have to use like maybe use like the first two lines. You only use the first two lines. You have like maybe like 13 lines left. You get and then your next question, don't just start it from that page. You have the example quality for you. So make your work neat. So start your next question from page, maybe use page one, page two, and page three to solve your question one. So when you have reached you still have enough space in page three. Don't start the next question from page three. Start the next question from page four. You want to do question two. So question one gives you question two would result to this. Do you get that now? So start your new question on the first page of your answer sheet. Now, next point, straight to the point answer. Be precise in the definition merit and the merits. Consider allotted mark on each question. So you need to be conscious of the terms or on what you've been asked to do. If you're told to just list, if you're told to state, if you're told to explain, if you're told to define. So want me to understand this word. Define is more concise. Just define, give me a definition, explain. Explain how you might have to define and add other important information to that. List, just list, don't explain. State might be in a statement format. Do you get that now? Okay. I'll give you an example where there's this is a form of statement. So if it's just list, it might just be one or two words. You get that now. So all these important information are important. Just go to the straight of the point. You don't need to try to know because I know these things I will be able to let me explain everything so that the examiner will know that I'm doing. You don't need to explain. The examiner don't need the explanation. That's why I told you to list. So don't do that. By doing that, you will be taking more of your time time you're supposed to use to time you have to use to solve a question, you will be using it to do the time you're supposed to solve that question, you've already wasted it on because you want to tell the examiner that that my head is there, that I know what I'm doing, that I'm going to tell that I know what I'm doing as well. You cannot tell if the mark is 20 marks, no matter possible check, so that's a your slang, no matter how hard it's going to be, you cannot come with 20 marks. No matter how the page you write. So go along with what you've been asked to do. Be precise in definition, merit, demerit. Consider allotted mark to each question. So the next part is give relevant examples where necessary to portray the point. So might be some areas, might be some things you might define. And if one of the ways you can tell the examiner that you really define it, you really understand what they're trying to say. Maybe your definition, you feel that your definition is not quantifiable. So one of the ways you can also support your definition is by making citing examples. Maybe there's some the example you feel that you can share with him. Maybe there's a development that's always running now, and you feel you can link it with what you're trying to explain. So adding that example is going to boost your point. It's going to boost your point of maximizing the mark that has been allocated to such question. So question okay, yeah. So yes. So your calculation, check the accuracy of your figures and formulas. Check the accuracy of your figures and formulas. So time allocation is very key. So yes, before you do that, it's important you take your time to know you confirm the figures you are doing. If you are adding up a lot of information, so don't just so don't just do it and don't confirm that. It's likely that while doing your while calculating, you might make some mistake. So it's important you don't just leave you don't just leave it like that. Take your time and discover the mistake that you make. So if you don't take your time to confirm what you've done, you'll be making mistake in your there's likely you that might have made some mistake in your totals. But because you didn't take time to confirm, there's no how we're gonna know about um about this. So the next part is time allocation. So now I tell students that no matter what you've done for yourself, no matter how knowledgeable you are, one of the areas that would test how brilliant you are or test your time management skill is the area that has to do with you managing your time. To scale your exam, your ability to manage your time is an asset to you. Many students have failed exercise exam because they were not conscious of their time they've been spending on a particular question. Your ability to spend your time on a question would help you in scaling the question, in scaling the answers, in scaling what you have already on ground. So while you for if you have 6 questions to answer and you have 3 hours each to answer the 6 questions. So what I did to just divide it. So if we divide 3 hours on six, that means you have 30 questions each to answer each question. You also have 30 minutes each to answer each of the questions. So that is, you must not spend more than 30 minutes to answer each question. If you're going to scale through, if you're going to have a great time answering your questions, it is important you know how to manage your 30 minutes on the questions. There was a time I was writing one of my professional exams, and it was at my last stage, and I was the only paper I was writing was on the paper that happened to be one of my strengths, and I got engrossed with question one because at some point which happened to be a converted question. That was what I started with because I was expecting that area. So at some point, I noticed that because I was checking my time, I had planned the time I'm expected to spend that time on that question, which happens to be like 30 35 minutes. At some point, I noticed that I had spent 15 minutes on that question. Immediately, I got the consciousness of that part. Where I was in that question, I just had to stop. I stopped. I left. I leave the question. I left enough space in my answer booklet, and immediately I went to go and solve other questions. Why? Because I had exited the time that I'm supposed to use on that question. The more I spend more time, the more it affects, the more it reduces the likelihood I'm going to have enough time to solve other questions. So if I had not taken control, if I had not checked my time, if I had not planned my time very well, there's likelihood that I would have consumed like over an hour, maybe 1 hour 30 minutes out of 3 hours. Then how will I solve the remaining questions with just 1 hour 30 minutes? 4 questions. So it's important that you don't just prepare for your exam. Performance skill time management is an important skill that you need in order to have a good time in your exam. So take your time, plan your minutes, ensure that you are watching your time. It is your advantage when you save the time on the question, so by the excess time you have, you can easily to review all that you've done. Do you understand that now? So don't forget that time management is key. The more questions, the more time you save, the higher the probability of you um having time to review what you've done, which would definitely increase your chance of success. So let's move to the next part. So to attempt 4 out of 6 questions, attempt 4 out of 6 questions. So don't go ahead and do a 2 no. A 2 no will not lead you anywhere. So you would only be telling the examiner that examiner I even know this thing past you. So let me just answer the question. Let me answer five. Let me answer five. Someone answers three still has high probability of and passes someone that answer five or six. The examiner can decide to just pin you down because you've gone against the exam instructions. So take your time to um limit yourself to what the examiner has asked you to do. Attempt 4 out of 6 questions so that you know how to manage your time well and there won't be any complications while you are trying to review what you've done. Also, question A, of course, you know your questions are into two different parts. You have question section A, which entails a question that you must use to compose the question, and the question carries from 40 marks. And you have section B, which entails 20 marks each, which entails which carries 20 marks each, and you have to answer. You have question 3 to 5. You have to pick just um 3 questions out of 3 to 5. Do you get that now? So no, like I told you, all I've said earlier, know the one that people use well. If question one is favorable to you, can start with that. 40 marks is important to you. You must not joke with it. If you don't answer question one, which is compulsory, you reduce your chance of passing the exam, even though you don't know it. Even though you don't know what you've been asked, please, to your own good, to your own good, attempt question one. To your own good, attempt question one. So, and also for the other question that you have to do, ensure you attempt them. Ensure you attempt them. Um, you attempt them because you need 20 marks each in order to pass your exam. So I'm advising you as a professional student as you prepare for your forthcoming exam, which is in some days time. So which is in some day time. Don't let what you've done. Don't let your distractions affect your performance. Do you get that now? So take your time and prepare for everything I've been said telling you so far. So far, I made reference to the fact that you need to start a new question on a fresh page of your answer sheet. Also, go straight to the point, be precise in the explanation, merit and demerit, consider allotted mark to each question, give relevant examples where necessary to illustrate your point at the point of view asking your question. Also, um, in the calculation, check the accuracy check the accuracy of your figures and formulas. So check the accuracy of your figures and formulas in order to ensure that all you've been doing um, is really really important. So check that as you do that. Also, I also mentioned we went to the concept of time management, and I told you the importance of of time management and how you can manage them well. If you can manage time management properly, it's going to affect what you're going to do. It's going to affect how you're going to it's going to decrease. It's going to incapacitate your capability in solving other questions. So it's important that you don't just go to the exam mode with the fact that I want to go and solve it. Go to the exam mode with the fact that I want to go and what you want to go and manage your time and attempt your question. Also, I told us that to attempt four you need to attempt four out of the six questions. Question which is a composite question, which question one is a composite questions of what that has a whole 40 marks, and section B which has questions from 3 to 5, and each of the questions um entails 20 marks each. So you must answer three questions in total. So let's now move to time allocation, extra exam time allocation. So your total time is 3.5 hours, 3 1/4, that's 3 hours and 15 minutes. So that's going to give us a total of 195 minutes. 195 minutes to exam time allocation. So you're reading and planning. It's always given to you 50. You take 15 minutes of your time to read the question. So during this phase, by this point, you would have known the question you have to pick. You'll be answering. So you know the question you'll be answering. You would have known. You would have, like I told you, just circle them. Circle question one, the compulsory. Question three, you know it. Question five, you know it. And question six and question 4, you know it. So answer them. So I'll be answering question one, five as one, four is coming to my second attempt. Three on the composite question apparently because that one is my area of confusion. But it's an area I'm not really sure about. So question one, so I was suggesting here that you can allocate 65 minutes to question one because it happens to be a composite question. So you need more time. It's a 40 marks question. Question one is a 40 marks, it entails 40 marks. So you need to give it a lot of your time. It's just like combining two questions together. It has 40 marks. It's a super core course. So you must not underestimate its impact in your success. Question one entails 40 marks. Question two, so we are suggesting that you give it 1 hour 5 minutes. So 1 hour 5 minutes is what you can give to your question one. So it's with a 40 marks question, don't joke with it. Question two, 35 minutes. So you can give 35 minutes to your time to have your question. So which entails 20 marks. So you must not that is you must not exit if you must not exit 1 hour 5 minutes, which is 5 minutes for question one. You must not exit 35 minutes for question two. Question three as well, you must not exit 35 minutes. Question four, I mean the question will be answered, total four questions will be answering. So remember question one, If I'm in question, I started in question 5, I must not use more than 35 minutes. So, but let's assume so question 2 as well, 35. Because I'm doing question 1, I move to question 2, I move to question 4, question 3, which is my third question, I also use 35 minutes. So I would have used this is 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 45 minutes. I would have used 1 hour 45 minutes out of 3 hours 50 minutes. Still have 5 minutes, 10 minutes to revise. So like that. The once I'm done, I can now schedule 10 minutes. It's like exactly what that if I manage my time properly, I will save some time in some areas, and I can use it to complement my compulsory question. So I can have 10 to like 15 minutes to review what I've done. This is an important phase that most students don't take advantage of. I've seen people that once they are done with what they have, they just leave. They take their booklet to go and submit without just taking time to review what they've done. Is it poor? It's poor. It's only in situation whereby you have limited time and you're just go to and submit. Everybody has submitted that you don't have time to review. But there's no point. I see no reasons why you just have to finish your exam and you didn't take time to review what you've done. You have to check if there is any possible error, mistake that you observe during while answering the question. So while doing this is going to help a lot. So take your time to review and correct. You can take 5 10 minutes to check out what I did my addition correct. So all these things are important, and with this suggested format of time management, you can it will help you to manage your 195 minutes, which is the exam, and without we can assure you that you are going to score more than 60% if you acquired our video lecture, you attended live classes, and you're also here with me. So I believe it's going to be a great time. So just do as we've said. All these tips are important to your success. Don't let it pass away. So don't let it pass away. Like I told you, I've made mention of the fact that you need to be time conscious. This is an important aspect. Most students don't have no student that um they they were not even time conscious. They've only answered two questions. And two questions they've used 2 hours 15 minutes because they used like over 1 hour to answer over like 1 hour to answer question one. They might never answer question, maybe just the two optional questions, maybe question two and question three. They reach like 2 hours and 15 minutes to answer the question, and they only have 1 hour to go. The compulsory question is there. You can't. There's no how on earth you're going to use 1 hour to answer the compulsory question, and also answer an optional question as well. So it's important that you manage your time. If you're not time conscious, you would have while away time before it occurred to you that I still have question three I've not solved. I still have two questions I've not solved. How am I going to manage my time? And before you hear, the examiner, the invigilator would announce that you have 15 minutes more, you have 30 minutes more, and by you hearing that statement, you be fear is going to grip you. Like wow, you be like how can I manage my time now? My time by then it's already late already. So it's important to start your time management skill earlier. Plan for that before you even leave for your exam, so that you know go with the wristwatch. If they even now allow wristwatch because of probability like it might be used for exam malpractice, you can of course they'll provide you with a work clock. Look at your time, look at when you're starting, look at the time you're going to be spending. You can even write it at the tip of your question paper, the time you're spending on each of the question. For instance, okay, question one, just write it 35 question two, or you write the time between. You can just write while you're reading the question. You can just come to, let's make it raw visible so that you can understand what I'm trying to say. Because this time management key is killing a lot of people, and people are not seeing need to plan lesson for it. Now we agree that we are answering question one, question two, question five, and question four. So question five is coming first as my first question. So let's assume my exam starting by 9 o'clock. Between 9 and 9:35, 5 a.m. I should have finished question five. So once I'm done with question five, I come to question four. So between 9:36 and that's 35, okay, that's 25 and 10 a.m. I would have finished question. Then now question three. I'm also my question three. I'm serving that as my third question. So it's going to be between 10 to 10:45 a.m. I can just maybe use a question and write all these things so that it will put me on guide. I'll be able to evaluate this while I'm solving the questions and come and take a hope I've not exceeded my time. And question one, we are allocating 65 minutes, an hour and 5 minutes. So I cannot say 10:45 to 11 11:50 a.m. Then I have extra 10 minutes, then I can use my 10 minutes to for revision. I can use my 10 minutes to revise, which is because I'm supposed to, the exam start by 9 and finishes by 12. So the extra 10 minutes I'm going to use and revise what I've done. It's likely I told you that you might not, you won't have more than 10 minutes because once having the question, if you know the question one and question two very well, if I see question, your first two questions, I can assure you that if you know it very well, there's probability I'm going to save time from my own experience. You have probability I'm going to save more time, so you can have more time to review what you've done. So please, over and the reason I'm taking time to pay attention to time management because it has caused a lot of people let me use the word sorrow, pain. It has caused lots of people pain because they didn't they prepared very well, they attended lectures, and they still had to feel they had reference to that course, which will not be a portion by God's grace. So please, all these important things is what we are is what is that's why we're taking our time to um open such information to you guys so that you can understand all we're trying to say. I believe you are with me. So let's move to um now let's start. Let us start. Yeah, click on the share. Click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. If you are with me, if you are joining us, yeah. A lot of people joined but couldn't cite reference. Yeah, when I could see you when you came in. Femi, I saw you as well. Abdullah into yeah, from Imo. You are welcome. How was service today? Um, Yeah, you're welcome. So we're taking our time to just ensure that you understand these things. But what today I can cite you. Or your wallet I can cite you. Um, yeah, Abdul Malik, I can cite you as well. You're welcome on board. So let's move. Now, like I told you, click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. Click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. So if you are just joining class, like I welcome some people. If I say join, if those that are joining us, those that I didn't work on, please just for I'm so sorry. I was trying to ensure that I explained the concept of time management. I could see you on my timeline, I could see you on the page. So yeah, if you are just joining us as well, you are welcome. Like I welcome everyone that has been here for a while. I know you've been able to gain a lot of things so far, and I believe that there's still some things you're still going to gain. So welcome to the class. Please kindly type hello if you are with us and you've not acknowledged your presence. Please just type hello in the comment box and your location so that I can acknowledge you. So let me know. I would love to know where you're connecting from. Like I told you, I'm Michael from Lagos. I've seen Abdul Malik, I've seen Chinedu, I've seen Batunde, I've seen Femi. So I'm still expecting more people. I'm expecting, yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Promise from Port Harcourt. That's awesome. We're having Port Harcourt all the way from Port Harcourt connecting live. So let's move. So let's keep this going. Just type hello in the comment section. Just tell me. You can just tell me your name and of course your by typing hello, I'm going to see your name and tell me the location you're connecting from. So if you have any questions, please I would love to attend to it. I would love to attend to your question. Please kindly drop it on your comment box. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to wait. Kindly drop it on your what on your comment on your comment box. So let's start. We are starting with ethics and professional standard. Ethics and professional standard. Now, question one. You will ask that a stockbroker, Mrs. Yemisi, an associate of chartered stockbroker, originated originated a rumor that Venom PLC, which is a quoted company in which she owns 2 million units of ordinary shares, is planning to issue a share of one a share bonus is to issue a bonus share to issue a bonus share of 1 for 2. Our aim for doing this is to push up the share price and realize capital gain on our investment. Question: has Mrs. Yemisi committed any market infraction? Justify. Has Mrs. Yemisi committed any market infraction? So like so Mrs. Yemisi, which happens to be an associate of stockbroker, just so she had a rumor of a company called Venom PLC, when she had 2 million units of ordinary shares. So and they're planning to issue a bonus share. So the aim of doing this is to just push up the share price and realize capital gain on our investment. So what do you think about this? As Mrs. MBC, what she had done what does it have any market infraction? If it does, yes. If it does, no. Then justify it. Now, so let's do justice to that. All right. So looking at what has happened now. Now this is what I'm have to say as regards the so-called Mrs. MEC. So Mrs. MEC, Mrs. MEC ACS has committed market infraction by the circulation of false information according to Nigerian Stock Exchange Market, Nigeria Stock Exchange, known as NSC, um, rules and regulations article 105, um, subsection A, which states that no broker no broker should circulate or disseminate any information to the effect that the price of any securities will or is likely to rise or fall when to his knowledge to his knowledge, um, the rises or falls are attributed to any action which, if done by a dealing member, would be in convention of trading rules. So on this context, I've been able to justify what Mrs. Yemisi had done, being the fact that she's a member of the Associate of Traders Stockbrokers. She has committed market infrastructure, which is against the NSC Rules and Regulations Article 105 subsection A, that states that no broker should circulate or disseminate information to the effect that the prices of any security um, will or is likely to rise or fall when, to his knowledge, the rise or fall are attributable to any action which, if done by a dealing member, would be in contravention of trading rules. So now I've just gone detail. You see what I spoke about preciseness while I was giving you the exam tips. So we are just asked to just justify your reason. I was able to point out the fact that Mrs. Chemisi, as an associate of traders stockbrokers, had committed market infrastructure infraction, which why has she done that? What's that? Where has it been said that why what can I do to support my decision? I now make reference to what the Nigerian Stock Exchange rule and regulation had said with respect to such fact. So I was able to cite what was coded in Nigerian Stock Exchange rules and regulations article 105 section A. So now my answer is concept and detail. So do you get it now? So now the next question is that I've been able to answer question one. So question two, under ethics and professional standards, give two examples of actions that would help ensure fair treatment of the client of a stockbroking firm when a new investment recommendation is made in line with the provisions of the code and standards on fair dealing with clients and prospective clients. So in these questions, you've been required to make to provide two examples of actions that would help ensure fair treatment of the client of a stockbroking firm when a new investment recommendation is made. So you have to make reference to the provisions of the code and standards on fair dealing with clients and prospective clients. Now let's move further as we do justice to that. So question two, so one. So I'll give you like four examples. So the first example is that establishment of guidelines to ensure that personnel who have prior knowledge of investment of investment recommendations do not discuss or take transaction on any pending recommendation. Two, setting of procedures to disseminate information on investment recommendation to all their clients at appropriately at approximately the same time the same time. So another example is prompt communication of changes in prior investment advice. So based on subsequent research to all current clients and prospective um, clients. 4. Ensuring that um, personnel do not take advantage of their position in the industry um, to the detriment of clients. So um, for instance, keeping information documents relating to an attractive upcoming IPO to themselves. So yeah, so we don't notice to ask these questions. One that has to do with confirming if Mrs. Act um happens to be market infraction, in which I justify, and I've justified it. I provided recommendations of the Nigerian Stock Exchange rules and regulation. So the other question has to do with you providing provisions on the code and standards of fair dealing with clients with prospective client. So now move to question 3. We now move to the topic on law relating to securities and investment. Law relating to security and investment. Now question 3. Now state the minimum number of directors which a public company must have, and the consequences, if any, if any, um, if if the number is reduced for more than 60 days. So this could ask two questions in one. First question is required to state the minimum number of directors, which is one, each a public company must have, and the consequences, if any, if the number is reduced for more than 60 days. So let's go ahead and do that. So that's question 3. I feel the question is in 2 in 1. So now this is the preparation. Various concepts and must be detailed. Every public company must have a minimum of two directors where the number is reduced to less than 2 for 60 days. It is a veil of incorporation and imposing personal liability for any debt owed by the company on any director who carries on the business of the company. So question 4. So now under this scenario now, I've been able to give a concise answer. The requirement of the question: you have been instructed to state the minimum number of directors that the public company must have, and the consequences, if any, if the number is reduced for more than 60 days. Now, to provide a concise answer, I've been able to say, I state here that every public company must have a minimum of 2 directors according to the provision. Where the number is reduced to less than 2 for 60 days, it is a veil, it is a veil of it is again a veil of incorporation and imposing personal liability for any debt owed by the company or any director who carries on the business of the company. I believe you are with me. So now question 4. A banker's duty to honor its customers' check will cease in certain circumstances. State theories of such circumstances. So you are expected to state the circumstances that would make a bank to seize the honor of its customers' check. So let's go ahead and state those circumstances. So there are those circumstances that will make a bank to seize the honor of its customers' check. The following are the circumstances. 1. Upon notification of the customer's debt of the customer's debt. 2. Upon notification of the customer's insanity. 3. Upon the notification of the customer's liquidation or bankruptcy. 4. Where there is a countermand by the customer itself. And 5. Where there is a court order which freezes the customer's account. Yeah. Now, So now let's now move to regulations of securities and corporate finance. Don't forget that under question 4, we only restricted to answer questions only um just to provide you just three reasons, circumstance. But I was able to give us five because I believe we all need we need it for there's some of us that will list three and out of the three might be between the one and five. So now let's now shift attention to regulations of securities and corporate finance. Now question 5. Compute the NSE fees, compute Nigeria Stock Exchange fees and brokers commissions on the following transactions. So purchase 100 units of FBN Holdings shares at 9 naira 9 naira and 2 kobo. 50 units of Wando at 5 naira 48 kobo, and they sold 20 units of Bega shares at 25 naira 06 kobo. So let's do justice to that. So let's start with the purchase transaction. The purchase transaction. So we start with my stock, the unit, the price, the total, then my NS. Of course, you know that your NSE fees is always at 0.30%, while the brokers commission is always being charged at 1.35%. So you can draw a table for that. You can also okay, you can just yeah, you can draw a table of my hand will be straight. Yeah, hope this one will be straight. Not bad. My price, not also bad. My total, um, the okay, then let me now total it like this. So now FBN bought how many units? 10,000 units. The price is how much? 9 naira 2 kobo, 9.02. Total result multiply 10,000 by 902. Is it 10,000? It was 100,000. Sorry, 100,000. That gives me a total of 902,000. You get that now? So they also bought they also bought 50,000 units of Wando at 5 naira 48,000. So the stock is Wando. They bought 50,000 units at 5 naira 48 kobo. So 50,000 units multiplied by 5 naira 48 kobo, that gives me 274,000. So in total, yes, that gives me 1,176,000. So you don't charge NSE fees on purchases. So you only charge on brokers commission. So I output it. So 1.3% of 1,176,000 rewards. This will be new. Yeah, this gives me 15,876. 15,876 in naira. So now we've done justice to this is my total. So we've done justice to purchase. Now let's start with sales transaction. So they sold this the client the stock is Julius Berger. Julius Berger. The unit they sold is 20,000 units at the price of 25 naira 6 kobo. So multiply 25 naira per 6 kobo by 20,000 units. That should give results to 501,200. So of course it gives me a total of since only one stock that was sold 501,200 is my total sales. So the NSC fees, which is that 0.3% on 501 200 would be yes 1,000. Confirm. Yes, that gives you 1,503.60 as my fees. Then um The bankers commission, the brokers commission of 501 200, which is at 1.3%. That is 6,766.20. Don't forget that you're expected to approximate your number to um to cobbles, since you are expressing the currency total total. So in this scenario now, if provided solutions, you'll be able to compute for NSA fees. Like I told them, NSA fees is not charged on purchases, it's always charged on sales. So but brokers commission are being charged on both purchases and also on sales. So click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. Please click on share to have a copy of what I'm doing on your timeline. And if you're just joining us, you are welcome to the class. Kindly type hello in the comments box and your location so that I can acknowledge you. If you have any question, kindly drop it on the comment box. So let's shift attention to the next question, which is question 6. Question 6 says that mention three practical ways by which the Investment and Securities Act 2007 makes provision for the protection of investors' interest in the Nigerian capital market. So that's 1.5 minutes. So I told to just list three. Let's go ahead and list that. So one is the provision for the establishment of investor protection fund. Two is the establishment of investment and securities tribunal. Three is setting of rules and guidelines that would ensure transparency and integrity in the market. So those are the answers to that question. Question now still on ethics and now we should attention to the ethics and professional standards. Now Chief Sam Undaruka, fellow of Charter Stockbroker, is the managing director of Day Glory Securities Limited. His close friend, Mr. Shola Owolodu, who is also the managing director of Happy Day Securities Limited, met at the last meeting of CEOs of stockbroking firms held at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. During their usual one-on-one discussion, they applauded the effort of the regulators for reducing the level of infractions in the market. They were particularly happy that only few firms are now subjected to the disciplinary process of the Nigerian Stock Exchange or Securities and Exchange Commission. This was confirmed by Director General of Securities and Exchange Commission during the last annual conference of CIS that the cases of infractions reduced from 91 in first quarter of 2016 to 36 in third quarter of 2017. Wow. They identify some of the factors responsible for positive development as follows. One, increase in capital based through recapitalization and consolidation exercises. Two, advocacy for mergers, acquisition among member capital market operators. Three, increase in introduction of new rules, regulations, and codes by various regulatory authorities and exchanges. 4. Zero tolerance by the regulatory authorities for any market infractions. 5. Investors are constantly informed about the operations in the market as the most protected investors is the most informed. Introduction of minimum operating standards. Also step up of surveillance activities by the regulators. 8. Online trading platform for investors. So yeah, so click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. If you are with me, just click on share so you can have a copy of this on your timeline. So if you are just joining me, if you are just joining us, we are still on. We are still on. So you are welcome. Welcome on board. Welcome to the class. So please kindly type hello. Kindly type hello in the comment box and your location so that I can acknowledge you. So if you have any question, like I've been saying earlier, please do feel free to drop your questions so I can acknowledge them and also treat you well. So so still on that, they also discussed some issues relating to other aspects of the stockbroking business, which regulators need to pay more attention. Mr. Shola Owolodun made the following comment: in the present times, when unethical environment is quite prevalent, scams usually involve transfers of shares from one stockbroking house to another. One of the syndicates fosters choice, where the shares are fraudulently sold without the knowledge of the real owner. B. Sometimes the scammers lodge the checks issued to them by the stockbroking firms and clears them through microfinance banks. The microfinance banks are currently being used by these fraudsters because they are not yet compliant with the bank verification numbers system. 3. In recent times, one of the new codes of fraud in the capital market is portfolio management scams. Under this method, the investor is persuaded to release his shares to the stockbroking firm, hoping to receive the promised huge returns, which the stockbroking firm may not honor. Meanwhile, all the shares of the investors will be sold by the stockbroking firm and the proceeds used for other personal interests, making it difficult for the stockbroking firm to pay back the shares for the investors when required. They concluded the discussion by arguing that despite the harsh economic environment and societal ethical and moral laxities, brokers should not get involved in any unethical practices no matter how juicy the offer may be. They must be ready to build an ethically conscious organization that will be free from regulatory sanctions and fraudsters' patronage. Click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. Very, very important. If you are with me, please click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. If you are just joining us, welcome to the class. Please kindly type hello in the comments box and your location so that I can acknowledge you. Please, I mean, if I'm not acknowledge you, please, I would love to acknowledge you. Please type hello in the comments box so that I can acknowledge you. Please do that ASAP, and I'm waiting. I'm expecting that already. Yes, I'm expecting. Please do that. Do that. Let's move ahead. Okay, so welcome Femi, welcome Bayo. I can cite you Oyinye, I can cite Amarachi. Yeah, Michael, I can cite you. Joy, I can cite you. Please don't forget to add your location. I would love to also see your location that I also make reference to where exactly you're connecting from. All right, so let's move. If you have any question, kindly drop it on the comment box. Please, if you have any question, please kindly drop it on your comment box. Now, required. Based on the question we've been the case you've been handling so far, you have been this is the requirement now. You are required to 7A. With the use of relevant code of ethics and standards, how can the issue of inter-member transfer fraud be eliminated or reduced to the barest minimum? How can the use of how can the use how can the issue of intermember transfer fraud be eliminated or reduced um to the barest minimum? So let's look at how we can provide solution to that. Okay, where's the question again? So sorry, I want to start out. So the requirement says that, okay, yeah, with the use with the use of the relevant code of ethics and standards, how can the issue of intermember transfer fraud be eliminated or reduced to the barest minimum? So pretty much straightforward. Yeah. So it's level A. So the CIS code will include the CIS code, which include one. We include one. Observe high standards of honesty, integrity, and fairness in dealing with clients, prospective clients, employers, employees, peers, colleagues. 2. Perform their professional activities with due and reasonable skill, care, and prudence and diligence. The third CIS code is to practice and encourage others to practice in a professional and ethical manner that will reflect credit on themselves and the securities and investment profession. 4. continuously try to maintain and improve their professional competence and strive to maintain and also improve the the competence of others. So I provided the code. Yeah, so we require to just provide three of them. Yeah. So I've given you the relevant codes of that can be used that can be issued by the member to reduce to the barest minimum um the comment as issues are grant. Now 7B, what appropriate measures should be put in place to track fraudsters before giving them checks for shares sold? What appropriate measures can be put in place to track measures? So 7B, so the measures include one, request for previous document used to buy shares, which entails contract notes, the purchase receipts, the dividend warrant, the account and etc. etc. So two is that if in doubt, contact the surveillance unit of stock exchange. Three, um, other due diligence that can be done, can be done um, by the managing director and the chief financial officer. So now the next question asks us that what are the ethical issues that reside in B above? In B above. So the ethical issues would be um 7C would be one, using dubious means, that is promising huge returns to collect clients' portfolio. Two, professional misconduct of the broker concerned. Another area is using the client's um, shares proceeds for personal interest. 4, there will be conflicts of interest. And 5, failed in fiduciary duties. So I believe we are getting man out to attempt the questions in an appropriate way. So don't let that go by. So let's start looking at, we're still on question 7. Now we've done question A, we've done question B, we've done question C, we're now moving to question D. Question D, you've been asked to mention 5 other unethical practices in stockbroking environments in relation to the ones cited above. So let's provide answer to that. So mention 5 other unethical practices in stockbroking environment in relation to the one highlighted above. So 7D. So other unethical practices in the stockbroking industry include 1, insider dealing, which is the order of the day. Insider dealing. 2 is share price manipulation. 3 is deliberate delays in dispatch of certificates and dividend warrant. 4 is using false information. And 5 is churning. Let me spell the churning for so you can understand the churning I'm making reference to. CHURNING. Now, we've done that now. Question E. So click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. Click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. For those that are just joining us, you are welcome to class. Please, I would love to acknowledge your presence. Kindly type hello in the comment box and your location so that I can acknowledge you. So you are welcome on board. Please, let's acknowledge ourselves. I'd love to know let's type your hello and your location so that I can acknowledge you. Yeah, Bayo from Ikeja. You are welcome. I believe you've learned a lot of things so far. Adewale from Oshodi. I can cite you as well. You are welcome on board. All right. So if you have any question, I would love to answer your question. So kindly drop it on the comment box so that I can attend to it. Drop every question on the comment box so I can attend to your question. Yesterday I can cite you. Welcome on board. Yesterday I can cite you. You are doing well. So let's continue now. Question 7E. How can Mr. Shola Owolodun build an ethically conscious stock broking firm? So we have been asked how can you advise Mr. how can he build an ethically conscious stockbroking firm? 7E. Mr. Shola can build an ethically stockbroking firm by incorporating the following into our organization. 1. Employing employing professionals. 2. Carry out um, know your customer. So it's carry out know your employee, not customer. Know your employee. KYE. Guarantee form for staff and police clearance. 3. Regular training and ensuring proper use of knowledge and skill learned. 4. Adequate remuneration of staff members. Also, another thing you can do is also to using appraisal system with fairness. So that is that for that. Now the next question, question 7F. List 6 disciplinary functions the Council of Nigerian Stock Exchange were imposed on a member for established cases of infractions. Council of the Council of the Nigerian Stock Exchange member can impose when the member embark on infractions. So click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. If you are just joining us, you are welcome to the class. Kindly type hello in the comment box and your location so that I can acknowledge you. If you have any question, please drop them so I can treat it. Throw them in the comment box. If you are just joining us, you are welcome to the class. Kindly type hello in the comment box and location so that I can acknowledge you. Let's provide solution to question 7. So 6 disciplinary actions. So the disciplinary actions that the Council of the Nigerian Stock Exchange can impose on the member for established cases of infraction include: 1. fine, imposition, imposition of fine on the hearing personnel or member. 2 is public censor. 3 is suspension on such terms and for such period as council may think fit. 4 is to upon a member call upon a member by written notice to resign, failing the receipt of filling the receipt of notice of such resignation from the member within 7 clear days of the date of notice exercise the power of expulsion. And 5, the fifth point, let me write it in this place. The fifth point is revocation of registration of its authorized clerks or accredited representatives, and finally expulsion. So click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. If you are just joining us, welcome to the class. Please kindly holler me by sending me hello, and also in the comment box and your location, so that I can acknowledge you. So if you have any question, kindly drop it in the comment box. So let's move to ethics and professional standard 1 to 5. So which happen to be an operative question. Now let's start with question 1. So according to CIS codes and standards, which of the following according to CIS code and standards, which of the following statements about fair dealing is least accurate? That is, it's not close to accurate. So the standard relates to fair dealing. So one, imposes a duty with respect to both client and prospective client? No. Pertains to both. This is good. Pertains to both investment recommendation and investment action. Yes. Requires members to compete fairly in the market. Yes. State that members should treat all clients equally. No, this is not part of the CIS code and standard. So option D, our answer. Now question 2. Which of the following actions may not be imposed by the board of the Nigerian Stock Exchange for contravening provisions of the Code of Conduct by dealing members? A. Restitution. B. Suspension. C. Expulsion. D. Imprisonment. Yes. So the sanction may not be imposed by the board of Nigerian Stock Exchange for contravening provision of the Code of Conduct is what they call, you can, conversation is allowed, discussion is allowed, expression is of course allowed, but infringement is not permissible. Now, three, which of the following constitutes unethical behavior in the capital market? Speculation, purging of securities, insider trading, or B and C. So, purging of securities is part, insider trading is, so our answer is option D, which is B and C. Now, for auditors, Attitude of Chartered Stockbroker has been hired by the First Pension Fund Administrator Limited to manage its pension funds. False fiduciary duty is owed primary to what? False fiduciary duty is owed primary to the management of the first PFA Limited or the shareholders of the first PFA Limited or the beneficiaries of the first PFA Limited or all of the above. So the fiduciary duty of Paul Arota is to the primary primaries of the first PFA Limited. Question 5. ACI's Association of Chartered Stockbrokers members approve the circulation of information that promises promises guarantee minimum annual returns of 25% to its clients, which CIS code and standard as most likely violated, which CIS code and standard as he most likely violated. So under this scene, the likely code and standard he has violated is the prohibition against guarantee. The prohibition against what? Against guarantee, which is option B. Now click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. If you're just joining us, you are welcome to the class. Kindly type hello so that I can acknowledge you, so I can know where you are connecting from. So I would love to acknowledge you. Please do that so I can acknowledge you and know where you're coming from. So in the comment box and also location I can acknowledge. So if you have any question, kindly drop it on the comment box. Now let's move make a shift to question 6. According to this CIS code and standards, a supervisor establishing procedures to eliminate conflict of interest relating to personnel trading would least likely recommend requiring dash. Is it A, disclosures of beneficiary ownership, B, duplicate confirmations of employee transactions, C, trading consistently with their firm's published recommendation, D, abandon employee investment. So under this scenario, this answer that suits this according to CIS code and conduct, so is the abandon employee investment. So on question 7, according to CIS code and standards, members are at least likely required to disclose to their clients their what first market making activities, beneficial ownership of shares, responsibility as CIS members, service as directors. So which of them suits the answer in this scenario? So the answer, the one that suits it is the um, responsibilities as CIS members. Now, question: according to CIS code and standards, a member with supervisory responsibility violate the code and standards if the member fails to prevent violations to the law, prevent violations to the CIS code and standards, detect fraud and prevent it, establishment written compliance procedures, and 9, which of the following? Okay, so according to question 8, the answer that suits it is question D, which is establish and implement written compliance procedures. That's question D. Now, 9, which of the following is not one of the fundamental principles of the Association of Certified International Financial Analysts? Association of International Association of Certified International Financial Analysts. Which of these are fundamental principles of that? Honesty, integrity, and fairness, awareness and creativity, independence and objectivity, professional and competence. So it's awareness and creativity. Honesty and integrity and fairness is part. Awareness and creativity is not part of the principles. So click on share to have a copy of this on your timeline. If you're not joining us, welcome to the class. Please kindly type hello in the comment box and your location so I can acknowledge you. If you have any question, please drop it on the comment box. So let's look at the law relating to securities and investment, which is entailed question 11 and to 20. So I can tell that as well. So which of the following courts do not have um, coordinate jurisdiction? Customary court and magistrate court, High Court of a State, Federal Court, Coroner's Court, and National Industrial Court or Sharia Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory and Customary Court of Appeal of the state. So, so it's going to entail yeah. So it's the High Court of the State and Federal High Court, not Customary Court of the state, because it does not have the coordinates and jurisdiction. So each of the following types of law have the major aim of compensating a victim. Each of the following types of law have the major aim of compensating the victim. It's not criminal law. Yeah, it is not status law, neither is it case law, it is the civil law. 13. The words in a trust which express the desire, belief, recommendation, or hope of a person creating the um, trust a record. Is it discretionary right, precatory right, testamentary right, or conceptual right? So this next is called precatory right. So click on share to have a copy of the timeline. If you are just joining us, you are welcome to class. Kindly type hello in the comment box so I can acknowledge you. If you have any question, kindly drop it on the comment box. So drop it on the comment box, and also I can also do justice to that. So if you are just joining us, you are welcome to class. So if you have any more questions, please ask. Kindly join our free Telegram class with that link. Click on the link to join the class. And at this part, I can clearly say that it has been a wonderful time so far. So wish you success from us at Starry Code Academy. We wish you success in your forthcoming exam. Do well to make us proud. Do well to put to practice everything we've recommended to you. And I believe God would grant all your requests. So have a wonderful time and see you soon.